Real talk only. This show ain't for the fake and the phony. Nah, we speaking it boldly. I'll give it the way that God told me. Yeah, I follow his lead. Ain't what they want, but I give what they need. Not when to compromise, never concede. Cause I need the truth like the air that I breathe. My recommendation, if you wanna change generations, hit play, let's talk about keeping it real. Be kidded in these conversations, yeah.
Welcome back to Candid Conversations. I know it has been a little bit of time. Okay, a little bit more than a little bit more. There was a good chunk of time where I just wasn't doing none of this podcasting thing. And it really came because I had recorded an episode, guess like a month and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer, honestly, with how time's been flying. And it was an idea I've been wanting to talk about, and I was excited about it. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna hit it. And so I start record the whole episode. I'm like, man, that I think that was a good one. Yeah. Got all my ideas out. Wonderful. Waiting, um, waiting for my friend to help me edit it and get that figured out, get it put together, and then I listened to it. I always listen to my episodes before I put it out, just because I want to know what am I doing, where can I improve, what needs to be better. So I listened to the episode, and when I tell you it was hot garbage, oh, it was hot garbage. And so I had to debunk that. And it was garbage, not because the content what was being spoken about was not good, but the presentation was awful. And so I know we maybe you've heard that phrasing or that idea of it doesn't matter what it's wrapped in, like a gift, like you don't want a gift if it's not wrapped pretty. And it's true. There's a lot of validity to that, that there was no way I didn't feel comfortable putting out that content with wrapped in that presentation. And it just wasn't, it was all over the place. And I was a little disappointed in myself. And I think it also was a reality check of it's great to do things and start things and um to pursue things, but there's really no point in doing it if you're not going to do it well. And I think that really also had me think about, or just expand this idea, that what is the cost of your yes? A yes is expensive. Your yes is expensive. And in that moment I realized my yes to podcasting was expensive. And what I mean by that is I want to talk about this idea of, do you know your yes? Do you know the value of your yes? Because um I didn't fully. I guess I didn't really comprehend the fullness of it. And so three points I kind of want to talk about, or boil it down to, of this, what is a yes, to give some context to it. Um, and the first one is, your yes is expensive. Your yes is valuable. Your yes comes with energy, time, effort, resources, you, all the things it comes with. There's a fullness of participation in your yes to things. And for me, that's something I am currently walking through the yes of how expensive it is. I don't think we realize how often we don't realize your yes cost a lot. And I think I found myself saying yes to a lot of things, not realizing how much it cost, not really seeing, oh, hold up, that's going to require this and that's going to require that. And so it's this idea of, in this first idea, your yes is expensive. You saying yes cost a lot. Your yes is valuable. It's not just something to be thrown around willy nilly. And I think for people pleasers specifically, which I can be in a way, um, it's easy to devalue our yes. It's easy to make believe that our yeses should be given to anyone, that anyone can afford our yes, that we can afford to give our yes to anyone. That's the better way to put it, that we can afford to give our yes to anyone and everyone, but we can't because if the yes is so valuable that most things that are valuable because there's only so much of it. And so this understanding that my yes, I only have so much of a yes to give. I only have so much time, so much energy, so much effort, so many resources, so many ideas, so many hands, so many hours in a day. There's only so much of myself I can say yes to others. And it was in this context too of podcasting where was this, oh man, gonna be expensive, more expensive than I thought, the time and the effort and really just being completely honest, this candid conversations, right? It I was embarrassed that I there was this assumption in my head that man, I'm pretty good at writing. Like, and not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at writing. I usually can kind of just go right. I don't really need to do too much planning or plotting out. Like I can kind of just start writing oftentimes and tweak as I go along and kind of make it what I want it to be. I can line it all up in my head as I go. And I'm like, man, I'm a decent writer. And I've been told that I'm a decent speaker. And so I think in my head, I just assume like, yeah, I'm gonna start this podcasting thing, and of course I'm gonna have to learn. Okay, how do I sit? And too far from the microphone. Okay, got to make sure the microphone's there, and those sort of things. But I think in my head, as far as the actual talking went, that's light work. I got that. That's easy, and that was arrogant. It was very arrogant, um, and it showed, and it has shown in previous podcasts. And yes, I've just really got it started. I'm not 50 episodes deep. I'm not 200 episodes deep, but one episode deep is enough to start learning, but also to take a step back and to not think more highly of myself than I ought to really take a moment and say, "Ooh, okay, this is reality. And it doesn't mean I can't be better. It doesn't mean I can't get to that level. But right now, I'm not there. And right now, there's requirements more than me just coming and throwing an idea out there and calling it a good thing. Um, and I think part of it was also this idea of wanting it to be candid, wanting it to be something that wasn't scripted, where I'm reading off a script. And I think that's important as well. And just because I didn't want it scripted doesn't mean it shouldn't be thought through. Just because I had a thought doesn't mean that thought was thought thought through. And how often do we do that? That just because we had a thought, we share it without thinking that thought through. And so back to the idea of your yes is expensive, right? It cost. And it's this idea of we I think we need to take better inventory of how much does your yes cost? It's expensive. So this is leading to my second point. Your yes is expensive first. So are we taking a moment to learn how much value our yes has? Do you know how much value your yes has? Because if you know how much value it has, then you're not as liberal giving it out. Now, I'm not telling you. Now, some of you need to learn the word no. N-O. Y'all need to learn it emphatically, but it's this also isn't a means or a pass to just tell everyone no and to I no I my yes is too valuable to help you, but it is this understanding of when I say yes too often, I'm devaluing it, and the more I say yes, the less effective it is, the less I can actually hold to the standard. So I think for everyone you have to take a moment and say, okay, what do I want my yes to come with? If I say yes, what does that actually mean? What does Aaron Cooley's yes mean? What does Samantha's yes mean? What does Timothy's yes mean? What does it mean when I say yes? Is it meaning, hey, I'm going to be there on time? Is it a guarantee that my effort and energy are going to be top notch? Is it a guarantee that hey, the work I produce is always going to be high quality? What is it that your yes is saying? Because if it's saying those things, then that also means you have to take a second and say, okay, for it to mean that, to have that value, what are the requirements in place for that? And for you, if you're like, my yes just means I'll show up, I'll participate, then I guess you can throw your yes around however you want. But I think most of us want there to be a value in our word and a value in our yes, meaning it can't be handed out as liberally because there's a value. There's a our name is attached to that yes. And so whatever that may look for you, I think there's this understanding that I needed to take a step back and continue taking steps back and evaluating how much of this costing. How can do I okay, on this is the expenses, this is how expensive it is. Do I already did I already put some yeses down? Do I actually have this? And so this idea that and trying to tie it in, but the first one, your yes is valuable. The second point is your yes cost. And so this has been kind of trickling into that idea, but this idea of on if my yes is this expensive, there's a cost that comes along with it. And it's this idea of are you counting the cost? How often do we say yes? We don't actually count how much it's going to cost us. And in one sense, that is the energy, effort, resources, and things. Because the reason it values that is because that's what it's costing me to give it, right? That's the value you're getting from me. You're getting my time, my energy, my effort, my resources, my thoughts, my ideas, my excellence, my punctuation, whatever the reason they came to you for your yes. And so if we're not counting that, we're gonna run out. Like if we're not, and so the best way to put this is, oh man, this don't hits too. Give me just a second. Okay, Luke 14. Yeah. Luke 14:25. I'm gonna read a little section of this because it's context. Context is king. Large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and turning to them, he said, if anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even their own life, such a person cannot be my disciple. And whoever does not carry their cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. Whoo! That will, yeah. Mm. That hits because there's this idea that your yes costs something. It's going to cost you something. And I don't think I for myself and many of us, I feel like we don't think about how much is it going to cost me to say yes, or what is it going to cost me. And so here, saying yes to God, saying yes to Jesus means the cost can potentially be saying no to father, mother, wife, children, friends, family. Saying I'm not going to fit in with that crowd anymore. That's expensive. That's a high cost. And every yes has a cost. It's not just a yes. So you can also say yes to yourself. What do I want to do? Well, I'm going to follow me. Comes with the cost. Cool, you're included now, but the cost might be depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, sickness, anger, no self-control. There's cost to the yeses, and I think this really points to this idea of won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it. And let's put another word there, to see if you have enough resource to complete it. Do you have enough energy to complete this? Yes. Do you have enough resources to complete this? Yes. Do you have enough time? Are you in the right mindset to even say yes to this right now for what it's going to require? And I think this also points to, won't you first sit down? Won't we first slow down? And so I had to take a step back and slow down. Okay. Yes, I want to put out an episode every other week. If I could every week, that would be dope. If I could get to that level. Do I have the time to right now? There's a lot going on in my life right now. Good things. But do I have the time to put it out with excellence? Now I can put it out. I can just put some 10 seconds, sorry, 10-minute videos out. I could put some little ideas. Hey guys, I was thinking about this, and yeah, what do you think? I could do that. Not even saying that's a bad thing, but what does my yes cost? My yes costs more than that. I can't look back. I'm sure I'm going to look back 6 months down the road, a year down the road, like, wish I would have known that, or I probably could have did that better. But it will be because I didn't have the knowledge, not because my yes was weak, because I didn't count the cost of my yes. Now, learning and growing is a wonderful thing. We're always going to look back like, okay, I could have did that different. But that's a different story than my yes just being eh. My yes, saying yes emphatically for it to operate like a maybe. And how many times have we operated that way? How many times have you said yes emphatically? Of course I'll help you. The day comes, maybe. Of course I'll come hang out with you. Maybe. Of course I can get that project done in this timeline, boss. That's no problem. And then it's crunch time and you're dying because you've just spent 4 12-hour days staying up till midnight trying to knock out this project because you didn't count the cost. And so that just has hit me heavy. Are we counting the cost of your yes? Because it's so expensive. Are you counting the cost? And and because it's so expensive and because it's a resource that is not that is exhaustible, that also means point number 3, your yes is a no. And if we really want to be more honest, your yes is a couple no's. Your yes can be a lot of no's because you saying yes to something automatically means you're saying no to something else. And I think this was another point that I was and still do struggle with understanding that when I say yes to this, I've automatically said no to something else. Now, practically, what this looks like is if you say someone says, "Hey, I'm moving on May the 17th at 3 p.m. Should only take like 2.5 hours. Love if you would help me out. You? Let me check my calendar. Oh yeah, I'm free. I'd love to help you out, man. No problem. Simple as that. Cool. It's May 14th now, a couple days away. Hey man, I just got tickets to the Rockies game. You want to come? Actually, I don't even play baseball. Why did I say the Rockies? We're not even good. Let's adjust that. Hey, I got tickets to the Nuggets Timberwolves game, game 4 at home, courtside. You trying to come through? Oh man, what day is it? Hey, May 17th, a couple days. The game starts at 4. Now, what we often do is we already gave our yes. We already sold our yes to someone. We already gifted someone with our yes. And how often do we retract that yes because we wanted to give it somewhere else? Because because your yes was automatically a no to something else, whether it was the no was already there or not. And it's this, what is the value of your yes? Does your yes have value because it has value, or is your yes valued on the situation? And for me, I want my yes to always be valuable to the best of my ability. I don't want it to be case by case. I want people to know that my word is my word. To the best of my ability, emergencies happen and things, but that's a practical idea. But it also is this idea of if I say yes to, hey, we need you to work overtime. It's going to be like 60, 70 hours this week. We really got to get this project knocked out. Could you help us out? Yeah, I got you. It's going to be a long week. Cool. That most likely meant that one yes was valued at 17 no's. Okay, that means I can't hang out with that friend on that day. That means I can't play my regular basketball on Wednesday. Might mean I can only go to the gym twice instead of 4 times this week. I'm gonna have to tell the wife and kids I'm gonna be home a little bit later these few days, so I might not be able to do the game night like we usually do. That's 5 no's already off the top of the head without knowing what that week's gonna look like. And it's this idea of, for if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you. Everyone who sees it will laugh at you, saying, "Look at him, who thought he could do this." And that actually does happen sometimes. But how often is the ridicule really just the, "Hey, I tried to tell you didn't have a lot of time," or we ridicule ourselves, like, "Man, I really thought I was going to be able to do it, and now I split my yes in two, and now it's two maybes. It's two halfways. It's two. I'll be there for part of the time. I'll be there for part of the time, and it just devalues your yes. So, do we understand that our yes is a no? Our yes is a lot of no's. Your yes can sometimes be a hell no. Excuse my French if that bothers you, but it's the truth that it costs so much to say yes. And so that was that this has been part of the pausing with podcasting or even putting ideas out there because it just wasn't well done. My yes was at best for that last episode, and truly for a couple of those other episodes, they're just it wasn't to the standard that I felt like I should be able to give now with the understanding, wisdom, knowledge, ability I have now. That it wasn't even to that standard, and that bothered me. And there's so many other areas in my life where it has bothered me because taking this idea of your yes is valuable, your yes costs something, and your yes is a no. That is really this principle in Luke 14. If anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even their own life, such a person cannot be my disciple. And whoever does not carry their cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. That that alone. Now he gives some examples or other ideas to tie into that, what that looks like, the cost of being a disciple, right? But that alone has really been hard, been a struggle this past year, maybe. Yeah, I guess give or take a year, um, give or take a couple months in that of what does a yes to God look like? Like I'm struggling with just the yes to podcasting, but the cost of of a yes to God as something that has been weighing on me and something I've been thinking about and pondering. Like, how much does it cost to say yes to Him? Because it's free to get into His kingdom. It's free. It's free to be accepted by Him. It costs everything to stay. It, he says, "Give me your heart. I can change your habits," or at least that's what we say, right? It's this concept that we really say, "Give me your heart, and I can change your habits." But that's because He's a heart changer. He's the only one that can actually change us from the inside out. But change requires something. A change is a yes to something and a no to something else. And it's the have you counted the cost? Have I sat down? And so that's something I've been really doing a lot more this year of sitting down and counting. Oh, how much is this yes gonna be? Okay, you want me to do what now? So if I say yes to that, that's no to these 10 things. If I say yes to this is potentially a no to those friends. And when I say potentially, what I mean is sometimes our yes means other people's no. And that's a hard thing too, that there's consequences. That your yes really, when I say it costs something, it costs consequences. Sometimes we don't get to decide what the consequences are. The example of moving in the game, our yes to that, the later consequence was it's going to be a no to that game, which is like, but man, it's a once in a what and what opportunity, and it's that man, it'd be so great. What is the value of your yes though? And in that example, it's so easy to be on either side of the spectrum there, right? That is the man, but you got to be. It's so much value in being a man of your word. Go help them move, man. There's so much value in there. And then there's others who would be like, hey, I know, but they can find someone else to move them for 2 hours. They're not tripping. You have this great opportunity. I'm not here to say which one is right or wrong in that situation, but I take that example and I put it here. And is that not in the same place we are, where it's the man, say yes to Jesus, or say yes to God, or say yes to living this way, or say yes to being disciplined in this area. Say yes to losing that weight. Say yes to stop drinking alcohol. Say yes to I'm going to work out continuously. Say yes to I'm going to be a good father, a good husband. Say yes to these things. And then there's this other thing that comes along that comes to say, will you say yes to me though? Can we split that yes? Will you switch your yes? And it's so it's so easy to talk about it as uh toss up, but living it out is so much more difficult to let your yes be a yes. It's- and that's something I think has been tough. As much as I would like to pretend like, man, it's easy. Some things are easy. Some things come easy to me that don't come to others, and then other things vice versa. But this really saying yes to God thing looks like a lot of no's to other things. And not because he's restricting me, not because he's trying to hold me back, not because it's an isolation. It's simply a set apartness. It's simply a there's a calling, there's a responsibility, there's a discipline that comes with this. And any discipline is going to be a lot more no's than yeses. For every yes, there's 10 no's. Man, I'm going to wait. I'm going to work out every day for this long. That means you're not going, that means you either are getting up early or setting a specific time aside, which means you're saying no to, if you're getting up early, you're saying no to more sleep, or you're saying no to staying up late, or you're saying no to snacks at bedtime because they keep you up late at night. And if you're going to work out, then you're probably wanting because you want to get in shape. That means you're going to say no to eating a certain way. So say no to drinking alcohol and drinking the fruity beverages and stuff. You're gonna drink water. Like it costs these all these different things, and it's just this because there's a greater good. There's a reward. There's a race you're running towards, um, and it's this idea too of following God. Like man, the prize is so great. Relationship with Him is so great and so costly, and really trying to evaluate what's that cost to the best of my knowledge, and being really blunt about do I want to pay that price? Do I really want to pay that price? Because I think we paint the picture as, man, just follow God. He loves you so much, and it's going to be great. And there's all those things are true, and it's going to be great, and it's going to cost, and there's going to be some trials and tribulations. You might suffer for your beliefs and how you choose to stand up for different things, and people won't understand, and you're going to be ridiculed, and you're going to have to keep your mouth shut when you want to speak up. You're going to need to be self controlled. You're going to have to love your enemy. All these things that, oh, wait, that's a cost. And some might be easy for some and others hard, but it's the, am I counting the fullness of my yes to things? All the way from following God to podcasting to eating the right way to being in a relationship with another person. What is your yes? What is the cost of your yes? What does your yes look like? And so what what is your yes? What is the value of your yes? What does Bob's yes look like? What does Sarah's yes look like? What does Ashton's yes look like? What does Nathaniel's yes look like? And I'm naming these names because it's important. I want to emphasize that it's your yes. And you have to put value to it. You have to sit down and count the cost of your yes. And I think when we start counting the cost of our yes, we're actually going to love others better. We're actually going to love ourselves better. We're going to understand the necessity of boundaries, the necessity of rest, the necessity of taking a moment, counting the cost. Can I afford this? Understanding the value of a no as well, and why it's a no. That it's not just a no because you don't care, or man, I don't want to hurt their feelings, but it's a no because my yes is so valuable and I want to give you my best yes, that I can't give it to you in this situation because I don't have the requirements met here. I don't have the time right now, or I don't have the resources. And that's not to say we always have to have this top notch yes. It's a plus plus, but it does mean if that's my standard, that if it falls below that, there's a reason. Man, I don't have 5 hours to give to moving you, but I can give you a good three. I'm gonna come help knock that out for a few hours. That's a good yes. That's you, but because you counted the cost. Hey man, could you help me do this project from here to here, or could you come on these 5 days? Could you do? Ah, I can come work the camp for two of them. I'll crush it if you want me for those two. If you need someone for 5, though, like you need someone for 5, I can't be there for 5. I can be there for 2. That's communicating. That's telling them, hey, my yes is good for this. That's as much value as I can put in my yes right now for the yes I've already put other places, for the things I've already said no to. And so just this understanding of count the cost. What is your yes? Shoot. And on that note, peace.